Oh God, has it been announced? Oh, let me get it. In the stream. So there we have it. Congratulations to the JAZZCATS on becoming head-to-head 10 champions. In what was a hidden 4-day nail-biter match, Leon and team beat Scoopy's Soda Jerks with a turnout of 29-26. Oh my goodness. What a nail-biter. The match was always close from the get-go, with the Cats being ever so slightly ahead, the Jerks catching up, the Cats pulling away again, several times over and over. In the end, a mere 3-vote difference decided the fate of our 2 magnificent finalists, but only one can win. Courtesy of Extreme, we have a vote progression graph. Well, it's the very minimum of what we'd expect from Extreme. Miami Expo was built 30% by Scoopy, amazing, 20% Ethan, Gustav 15, Josh 12, Mavericks 5, Hobion 5, Walto 3, Mulpier 3, Ziskor 2, Gamma 2, Dr. Dirt 1, In the Manual 1, and Central Ethiopian Police Brigade 1%. You love to see it. We love to see the team come together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That is a full roster appearance, everybody. I want to see some heart reacts in the chat for that. Vere Aeternum was made by Steve, 40%. 94 Supreme Posse, 15%. Tosmir 10, Salmot 10, Leon 7, AVC 6, Monster Book 6, Gene 2, AJ 2, Bubsy 1, and Saxman 1. Yowie Zowie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh! Just missing one, I think, unless I'm miscounting. I'm not going to check. I don't have time for that sort of thing. Absolutely outstanding, stunning stuff. Congratulations to the JAZZCATS, and absolutely also congratulations to the Soda Jerks. Let's open up the finals parks. And now that the cat is out of the bag, we can discuss these bad boys. So here's the winning park. Oh, right, let's get the voice chat on the go. Oh, it's you in Space K. Oh, Mr. B. We love you in JK, Space K. The sleep deprivation is sneaking in, guys. I forget what team JK was on. Amazing. If any JAZZCATS want to hop onto the stream now and maybe discuss a bit of the behind-the-scenes stuff, you are more than welcome to. Though I appreciate your heart's probably still in your throat and probably will be for the next 3 or 4 months as you get used to being the head-to-head X champions. What a season. Very close match, and very deservedly so. I think that it was amazing that the poll was hidden, because otherwise hemorrhages may have occurred.
How's it going there?
How are we doing?
Good. Better now.
I imagine so. So you had a pretty big chunk of this park.
I did.
I'm very glad to see. What were you responsible for? What were you shouldering when it comes to this park?
So I did a good majority of the Woody. I did quite a bit of the aqueducts. I did like the drop tower. I did the top spin, the log flume, bits and pieces. I did a lot of like assembly work as well. Like with having so many people on a park, like a lot of people would just kind of make buildings on a side save, and then you'd have to copy and paste them in and integrate them into wherever they're going, basically. So I did a good bit of that as well, especially on like the left corner. a lot of those buildings on the left were AVC, so I would kind of stick them in a spot. Pretty much all of that screen is AVC's buildings.
Damn, that's no like small task as well. Doing like the composition aspect is like such a heavy aspect of it. Were you getting heckled a lot, or did people trust your judgment?
It wasn't too bad. There wasn't too much heckling. You know, Steve's a fun guy to try to please, but you know.
So would you say like I know that Steve had the biggest percentage. Would you say that Steve was the lead as well?
Yeah, it was very much. We had a couple parks we were trying to get off the ground, and we're kind of stuck in neutral. Yeah. So eventually, this was probably 2.5 weeks worth right here. Eventually, Leon was like, "All right, Steve, like, have at it. Kind of pick a direction and go, and pick a few builders and go." And so that's kind of what happened. So yeah, he definitely did the lion's share, I would say. Like, he did the RMC. He did pretty much the whole right side of the map was pretty heavily Steve. Yeah, so a lot of that, all the waterfalls, the cliff works, like the station for the Woody. He did a lot of the stuff kind of in the foreground, the pathing, kind of the entrance to the park there.
Yeah, this part down here feels very like Biota. So I was
I'm sure you could probably you could probably pick out some of the stuff he did, I'm sure. But yeah, he did. And he did a lot of the stuff on like top of the mountain as well on the right side.
That's awesome. So is this would you describe this as fairly last minute as things go?
I would say it definitely was a pretty loose idea. It started as just kind of a jungle ruins kind of theme, and then I think at one point I mentioned, what if we did more of like a Fountain of Youth kind of deal? And I'm not entirely sure how well that came across, but that's kind of the loose idea we went after. So I think the tricky part for me was I was out of town at a wedding for the last 3 days. So when I stopped building on this map, it changed quite a bit since I was gone, for sure.
They fixed all of your stuff.
That's right.
I can post a picture from 24 hours before-ish.
Oh, do it.
Oh, Saxman already did, I think. Yeah.
It was a lot of late additions,
crumbs. For sure. This was 24 hours before?
Let me see.
There's no way. You are lying.
I'm not lying.
Shut the actual fuck up, guys. What the hell?
It was
kind of crazy.
Damn.
We finally got multiplayer working. I had tried like the entire last half of the week to try to get multiplayer working, was having all kind of technical issues, couldn't get it working. And then Leon got back from a vacation, and he was the only one able to actually host. And so he hosted, and I wasn't available that morning, but the team kind of just went in there, and I don't know how many people were on there, like 5 or 6, I think, just filling stuff in.
Damn. Holy smokes. I'm just like looking in here, just trying to see any like differences.
I think kind of the idea with the bottom corner for quite a while was that it was going to be more of like a hot spring setup. And there still are some pockets of hot springs in there, but it definitely, the macro definitely changed quite a bit from at least when I left.
Darn. Yeah,
but yeah,
I mean, even here with this viaduct got clipped short to like fit all this stuff in. It's so interesting.
Right, but I think honestly it was worth it. At least in that spot for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You've got to respect the thing that exists at the end, right? You know.
Oh yeah.
It was a bold, choice to have so much like landscaping in this aspect. I realize that you have very little choice at some point, but it's definitely like a defining aspect that must have emerged at like truly some of the last moments.
That spot specifically, I honestly just don't think we really knew what to do with. For whatever reason, just that angle, that kind of pocket of rock work and trees, it was just like we didn't really know what the solution there was. So, but I kind of like how it almost walls it off a little bit, because if you turn the camera, you get this nice corner view.
Yeah. You know, I've never noticed this before. These... It's called something. And I agree, it is sort of a something.
That was Tulsamere.
If anyone can give a more accurate definition to whatever's going on here, I'd love to see it. But it's very vibey, I love it. The station's obviously really, really gorgeous. Just a lot of things, like...
Tulsamere definitely had his fingerprint on this corner. I think he did the station as well.
Damn, and we're very lucky for that as well. Yeah, it's sort of like a tricky challenge in that amount of time to make, to just trust yourself to make bold choices, right? And it doesn't surprise me one bit that multiplayer would have had to have been involved at that point. With 24 hours to go in it, you must have really sort of put pedal to the metal.
Yes, it's been something we've been struggling to get working most of the season, to be honest. I know the only person I think we've ever got to successfully host multiplayer all year was Leon, and if you joined, you weren't allowed to leave, or it would kind of kick everybody out. So if you had to leave, you had to kind of leave your computer running.
Which explains how we got so much done in the past, like in the last 24 hours, right? Because no one was allowed to leave.
It was illegal to leave. Yeah, we had that problem as well. It used to be like when we were doing constellations at the beginning, other people could leave, but I couldn't leave. Otherwise, it would crash it. But as time went on, it was everybody seemed to be crashing it. I think it might be just a problem with open more than anything.
Yeah, it's been getting better lately, but just the sheer amount of objects on some of these files and having to load them all every time you load in, that makes it tricky to establish a connection.
I can imagine so. Yeah, it's got a lot of challenges to overcome to get the job done. Yeah, amazing. So like with 24 hours to go, I had a question a minute ago, but then you said something interesting. What was I going to say? Darn. Ooh, would you say that? I think that the finals parks, which should be like, but logic may dictate that they'll be the most bombastic, the most polished, the most whatever. I feel like historically that the finals parks are the most sort of desperate and strained in terms of like time scale. If not in terms of like executed finished products, they're always very down to the wire. Whereas like other parks, let's just call a spade a spade. The JAZZCATS also had Mecha this season, and Scream Easy, which are sort of very defining products, and whereas this one was a very different build process, in terms of what I'm hearing. What's your opinion on that? I guess I'll just leave it open ended like that.
So this one was tricky because we knew the 2 weeks after semis that both Leon and AVC were going on vacation, basically. So, I mean, they probably combined might have had like 2 days total of build time on this, which is pretty crazy with the amount of stuff they actually did. But we knew that, that we didn't have two of our best builders on it, so we had to kind of pick and choose who we wanted on it. So I know Steve essentially said, I'll kind of pick the direction, and then he kind of pointed a few builders, one of them being myself, that haven't been, as included on most of the other maps so far this season, kind of give us a time to shine, so to speak. Just to kind of keep it small for the start. And so we kind of operated like that for a couple weeks, but obviously, it's a 70 by 70. You got a lot of stuff to fill in. And so eventually, as time went on, a week or two towards the deadline, it started adding more and more builders. Like, guys, we got to fill in a lot of these gaps here. There's a lot of stuff we have to do. And so obviously as we got closer to the deadline, more and more started happening. And so it was definitely difficult to kind of walk the line of being, we need to get a bunch of stuff done, but it all needs to be cohesive.
Good Lord. It came out incredibly cohesive. Which, hearing the story of it, I'm kind of like, wow, you guys are assholes. How did you do this?
There was definitely a bit of follow the leader. Steve kind of set the tone. I know AVC on this corner kind of introduced a lot of like the pinkish purple ivy. But a lot of like the pathing choices and some of the architecture choices and foliage choices. Steve kind of laid out like a template off the map of like, here's 6 or 8 objects to make your walls out of, and 6 or 8 to make your paths out of, and to make your foliage out of. And obviously a lot of the rock work is it's only a handful of objects really.
Yeah.
So it was definitely an interesting strategy to try and do a lot of it. Yeah, so if you look at that screen that Monster Bucks posted, you can see there's just boxes with like, here's the foliage box, here's the walls box, here's the, water and rocks box. And so whoever had the file at the time was kind of just picking objects out of those boxes.
I think also in the beginning, we spent a lot of time thinking what to do rather than build. Like, it took a lot of time to get the fundamentals down for what we wanted to do. I was still building on Mecha at that point, so I didn't have time to help. But in the last 24 hours, I think we were just like in such a state of panic that we forgot to think and we just built. And that kind of worked. Like, Noah, I know you weren't there, but it was like a voice chat that was completely quiet because everybody was just building. And then occasionally, I'm going to do this. And people would be like, yep, that's fine. Let's keep moving. Which was really, really efficient towards the end.
And I mean, I guess you're
multiplayer.
You're also like riding the high of having like some of the, highest rated parks of the contest and of kind of ever. So I guess, there's not a lot of room there to be sort of justifiably, nervous about, will it be good enough? You're kind of like, well, yeah, we kind of are awesome. So, which I guess helps a lot in the that sort of like conviction.
I definitely think me, AVC, and Leon took it a little bit more, these guys will just, they got it.
Yeah.
And yeah. Then towards the end, everybody, it was all hands on deck.
Man, you've got to love it. You've got to love it. And the thing is with Steve is that, he's got that like captaining background, led an amazing team last head-to-head. So leadership, very much in his wheelhouse. And of course, with age does come wisdom. And he is so very old. So he's a kind of the guy that you want to, the right person for the job in that kind of crisis where like we need to get it going. So here's a question. Leading up to this sort of like semifinals, finals, was there you know, an amount of doubt among the team that you were going to make it to the finals, or was it sort of like, just in terms of like logistically, like, oh, we were very like rushed towards the end with this finals park? Was that just by virtue of the fact you'd all been hitting the other parks so hard, or was it a little bit of like, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves sort of thing?
I don't think there's ever really a worry about that, because, I mean, worst case, we were just going to be making it for, you know, a third place park, something like that.
This is true.
Even if we didn't make the playoffs, it was going to be, well, if we have this thing half started, you know, maybe we want to see it through anyways. So I think the whole time, at least myself, but I'm sure a lot of people had the same thought process, was we were going to make 7 parks total.
Well,
I sort of thought we were done for after losing round 2, but obviously not knowing head to head, that's not how it works. So
there's still everything to play for at every moment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you don't know whether the person like go on.
I think Verb became a must win for us, and that was kind of the turning point of the whole season. Once we won that, we got some momentum. But to answer your question, like, yeah, I think a couple people on the team were seriously burned out. I don't want to talk too much for Leon or AVC, but I think that's part of the reason why Mr. Brightside stepped up and did the Maverick recreation, because we couldn't get round 5 going, really. That's part of the reason why it was pushed back to semis. And so it's a long season, and I know this was even shorter than like last season was 7, round robin 7 rounds. But it takes its toll trying to build these parks to the quality that people expect nowadays. And so, yeah, I think there was some element of, man, are we going to be able to finish this? Are we going to be able to get this done? Just because of people, kind of being a little bit demotivated just because they've been building so much RCT.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's interesting to hear that. It makes perfect sense as well. Thank God for Mr. Brightside. We need to get some heart emojis in the chat for that, because otherwise we wouldn't have had this amazing sort of season from you guys. Oh God, there's like historical controversy occurring in the chat. What a season. We were going to use these objects here in our park, but then we sort of like changed directions. There's a bit of useless information for you guys. Man, and what a first season from Monster Books as well. Very glad
thank you.
that we've like got so many people from across the community to join up and really sort of get their hands dirty and join in the fray. And I'm sure we spoke about this the other day, but we got a lifelong new member, hopefully, and we'll see you in future ones. Mr. Brightside, Gustav Goblin says, Mr. Brightside went from not getting picked in mock drafts and grinding in voice chat to becoming part maker and playing a big part in the Cats. What a legend. Can only agree with that. Do you guys feel like there was any little hidden secrets in this park? I imagine there are a bunch that perhaps went unappreciated in the public eye.
Yes.
Go on, spill the beans.
So on the old school drop tower, kind of towards the right side, if you scroll up a little bit.
Oh, this one.
Yep. I timed an invisible boat to appear so that it would splash into the aqueduct I'm not sure if anyone picked up on that.
Oh, let's wait and see. Let's see on the next one around. So I love stuff like that. I think there's like a problem that we get to in this stage of like the talent of the game where we make stuff with almost too much verisimilitude. Like it's almost too perfect. So it kind of becomes a bit invisible in how outstanding it is. And I feel like that sort of thing, I might just be like, oh yeah, it kind of does that. Oh, that's sick. Yeah. So it splashes as it goes into it.
Yep.
Was that a tricky hack, or was that just a matter of getting the timing right?
It took me like an hour or two maybe, but it was just trying to get it to appear at the same time. There's just a invisible water coaster underneath that pops out and disappears again.
You gotta love it. If we're not doing stuff like that for the finals, what are we playing at? That rules. That's awesome. A pretty bold choice as well to go for that like classic Intamin drop tower thing, because you don't really see them anymore. We saw one in famously we saw one in Belle Isle, and I can't remember the last time I saw one.
Yeah, I think we kind of struggled for quite a while on trying to figure out what flat rides we wanted to do. Because we know we wanted a lot of water-based rides with like the flume and the raft ride. But other than that, it was really just, I put this in and I put the top spin in, and there was a couple other flats that appeared in the last 24 hours or so. But other than that, it was like, I don't think anyone really had any preferences or anything. So it was just kind of drop them and go.
This one's called Columbo? Damn, we were talking about Columbo earlier. My wife, she loves theme parks. She's always saying to me, you should come to theme parks, come to theme parks. And I'm always saying, they make me nauseated. There's a little one for the Columbo lovers. And of course we've got the swan boats from round one. I think the Mecha had probably the most sort of nostalgia for the rest of the contest, and like the team reference things. I wonder if there's any other references like that. 94.
Honestly, I just
got any secret things? Go ahead, sorry.
I just don't think we had a ton of time to really put a lot of that stuff in. As much as we would have liked to. But I guess we got them all out of our systems with Mecha for sure. Yeah,
there was, at least you've not left that stone unturned in terms of like getting that stuff going. Great to see my man Che getting his objects. I believe this is a Che object. Oh, it's not showing it up. That's rude. Curved palm tree. Maybe that was an object before, I don't know.
Yeah, those curved palm trees made quite a few appearances on here. Those are nice. I like those.
They're very charismatic, aren't they?
Yeah, they're different for sure.
Did you know that palm trees, strictly speaking, are a grass? Somebody double check that, because that might be just a lie that I read. But something that I can say with a degree of confidence is that there's no such thing as like a tree in the way that we look at them. There's so much sort of genetic diversity between like trees that very few of them could be like closely categorized in the way that we sort of tend to clump them together as. And I think that's fascinating. But like I say, I'm famously a liar. So I'll just say again, Monster Box 94, are there any little secrets that you want to unveil? Or are you pretty confident that we've plumbed the depths of Vere Aeternum, or whatever it's pronounced? I am not so much a smart guy in that regard.
I don't know how it's pronounced either.
Thank God.
Yeah, I have no idea. No, I don't think all I did was detailing, essentially, on this park. That crap load of detailing here and there. No secrets. I don't think so. Did most of the bottom corner down there with the baths. Was a combination of me and Leon, I think, mostly.
You love to see it. It's a very complete product. It's so like,
yeah.
I'm really annoyed that you guys did so much in the last 24 hours. Because we were in the semi-finals one the other day saying like, we did so much in that last like few days, but then you guys come in and say, I guess it's kind of the opposite of the round 5 stuff, where Mr. B was like, this was like 14 days, and then we were like, we did ours in 7 days. And then he's like, God damn it.
I think we did have, towards the end, we did have a lot of pastables as well, because people had been popping in and out whenever they had time, but still required the multiplayer to really get it going, I guess.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff that didn't even make the cut either, because just people like, you know, like she was saying, there's 6 or 8 people that were just making stuff offline, and it would get pasted into the side of the map, and then now we have to actually, you know, go in and put it somewhere on the map.
Exactly. Like the little solar clock at the Swan boats. It's one of the things that were standing in the like off map for a while before being pasted in.
Damn. That's a luxury, isn't it? Having too much awesome shit.
Kind of like Mecca all over again.
PTSD.
Trauma.
Amazing. Well, guys, thank you so much for such an amazing season, first and foremost. But for coming and chatting about it today. I know it's probably been a very stressful sort of few days for you guys. How does it feel to be the H2HX champions?
Pretty crazy. Honestly, did not think we would win, so I was prepared to come in second, and then anything on top of that was gravy.
Love to hear it.
Just don't think I have any words, really. That. It's just... To have fun was my goal. So both to win and have fun is like not at all expected.
Love it. Well, amazing. Well, if you guys are, you know, all out of secrets, I will open the floor to any soda jerks that want to talk about Miami Expo, because I would love to hear about it. I don't know whether anyone's around, but I am all ears. Let's just admire it. Our glorious second place winners. Again, I feel like I've said this every round. It just absolutely sucks that one of them has to lose. And this is the sorry party here that we have to apologize to. Because damn. I said damn. What a park.
Don't apologize to me. They made an amazing park.
Yeah, they both rule. I voted in this mainly out of you know, like respect for the contest more than like anything else. I would have loved to have null voted on this one as well, but I really sort of hunkered down and said, which one do I want to vote for? Yeah.
This thing working? This thing on?
Hello, babies.
Yeah, I can chat about this. I'll let Scoop take the wheel, but I mean, I did quite a bit on this too, so I could offer some insight.
Well, I'm thirsty for both of you, as usual.
This is Scoop's 6th child in the last few weeks. If you know, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's funny.
So yeah, I mean, if you want to take the lead on this, go ahead. I mean, I feel like I did less than 15% on this, but I appreciate the share.
So this was an idea that really before I've got some sketches that I could show that I had before the draft even, or before the contest was announced, of an Epcot style park. So everyone who got that reference were spot on, of course. And I'm just glad that I was able to see it come to fruition.
Everyone will be glad to learn that the recording is still going.
Yay!
I just had a heart-sinking moment where I was like, I've not checked. I've just been listening this whole time. Yeah.
I like
Well,
to imagine your eyes just constantly darting back and forth, like, this on, this on.
the problem is, the whole time that it wasn't working, it had the little red signifier that it was working, and only when I clicked on it did it show that it wasn't working. So I was gaslit, I was gatekeeped, and I was girl bossed in that moment. Yeah, what was the process like bringing this to life? You had all these plans before the contest to do it. Was this always a finals park? Was this going to be in like the round robin?
It was actually, so it was something that it was like a non-starter that this had to be made almost. And whether that was in round robin or semifinals, it was semifinals at first in the end, and then was shifted. I forget the reason. I think because of builder shares, or who builder limits for semifinals is why. I might be wrong about that, but
yeah.
God, it was such, the whole season was such just a rush. Can't believe it's been 3 months, but yeah, there were a couple of different ideas. One of them was more of a symmetrical map shape, kind of similar to how Sea of Symphonies came about, where it was like just you had a lighter front half and then more content in the back, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm glad we shifted to this, because we didn't have plans, or I didn't have plans for the beach on that version. And I think that's really what one of the many things that elevated this version. Really my first idea, a lot of the conceptual stuff came down to the team as a whole, really, because all I wanted to do was an Epcot inspired park. And if you I don't know if I think he has publicly shared this, but Josh and I think ABC during Grand Tour last year were possibly planning on doing a Miami park. Very similar to this, probably heavier on the synthwave aesthetic even. And that's kind of the what's the word? I forgot the word I'm fishing for, but that's kind of the compromise we made to be able to include multiple builders' ideas on this. Miami, Expo, Epcot, Tomorrowland, Synthwave.
Damn. What a combo. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
So was this cooking in the background for a long time, or did this sort of come to life in the final moments?
I started
Are you
it
more responsible than the JAZZCATS, I guess is what I'm asking.
I started it right before Seas, I think. I laid out that first map, and then this map started shortly after Seas, and it did take a while to really get off the ground. I mean, I think Josh already posted the before and after a week and a half ago.
Oh,
We
really?
just, that's
If we get a
our
repost
MO.
of that, that would be amazing. Was that just in like a random chat, or was it on the
I think it was
the
in
website?
Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, we can repost it. It was an
I'd love
RCT
to,
discussion.
just to include it in the stream as well. In the recording, sorry. So did you maybe you've said this already and I was looking at the chat. Did you send anybody to Epcot to like get like source material and stuff like that, or did you already have like a bunch of material? Was there
I mean, I live in Florida.
So you know it like the back of your hand.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, Josh and I, we live here. Me only a year, of course, but there's definitely a lot of reference to pull from as well. And we did use a lot of AI generated images as reference to get that, because I mean, Epcot is definitely a brighter park than than the final product is. Even though there is that retro futuristic style to it. So getting it in AI and kind of meshing the two together really helped us visualize what it would look like in that style.
Damn, and it came out with such like a vivid aesthetic as well. I think people are going to be coming back to this one for a long time to sort of hawk off the vibes of this one and try and emulate it.
Oh yeah, the aesthetic. Props to the rest of the team. I mostly handled like planning the layout, the map layout out, and then I did a big portion, most of the land pavilion, and then a good chunk of the air pavilion as well. But then like the aesthetic, all the like the map edge, that was Josh and Hobion, and then like just the lighting, the path details, the flashing lights and everything, that was definitely the rest of the team. I mean, of course, Josh with the objects, really such an MVP in that regard.
Spamming.
What's up, guys? Walter.
Hi. Oh,
What's
snap!
up?
It's Josh. We got the 4
No, he's not. Don't let him in here. Oh, I've had like 3 cocktails. I'm at Home Depot.
Are you driving?
Are those things related?
I only go to Home Depot for last 2.
Damn, let me make sure that was recording. Okay, we're still going. Oh, yes, we are.
Yes, this is being recorded. It's being sent straight to the CIA. They're going to hear everything. And he's gone.
Had to go get some wood.
Josh, wherever you are, and by wherever you are, I mean at Home Depot.
I love it. I love it. So good stuff. Tell us about your contribution. You got 15%.
Right. So I did most of this in the last week, and Josh is out of the chat, so I can say this now. I'm very sad because before I really pulled most of my weight on this park, I had COVID for 2 weeks. I feel like if I had just done a little more on this map, I could have just done some, bitch work and gotten us to a state where we could have gotten a lot more polished. And I think we would have been somehow more competitive than we already were. And I think we could have even won. But, the shoulda, woulda, coulda is never good for your head.
No, of course.
So I wasn't really active over in the air pavilion, but I did do little contributions elsewhere. If you move down to the land pavilion, my favorite contribution I made was the station interior for the test track. I'm very proud of how that turned out.
That's awesome. Definitely a highlight for me.
Yeah, you gotta love that bit.
He also did the Astro Orbiter, the ride.
I did the Astro Orbiter. I did both the hack and the ride itself with like the centerpiece. That was a fun one to do. Was really basing that off the one at Disney in Tomorrowland.
That's sick.
I did the tower, the Valley of the Kings looking tower that's next to the zip line.
This one. Yeah, it is very Valley of the Kings, isn't it? This whole sort of
Yeah,
look
like
of it.
Scoop. That was
Love
like
the
the first
fake
thing I put
rocks.
on the map. Scoop gave me like a reference pic. Like, oh, it looks like Valley of the Kings, and I just kind of went full Valley of the Kings on it.
Yeah, it was kind of supposed to be based on the towers at Universal Studios Orlando. The what is it, Black or Men in Black? Yeah, Alien Attack. That ride. There's some towers out in the front of that ride, kind of similar to that. Very retro futuristic vibe.
Damn.
I was also over at the Seas. Okay, actually, if you look closely in the Land Pavilion, you can see that there's a rock climbing wall.
Yeah, just over here,
I did that.
If you use cutaway,
Yeah, that was kind of the.
be able to.
No, we have cutaway
Right.
on. No.
It's fine.
But yeah, you can see there's a little rock climbing wall that I did.
And then if you turn your camera to the right, or yeah, you can see in the back corner there, some. If you know the actual test ride or test track ride, there's a couple of scenes where it goes through, like different temperatures for testing, and Gustav did those as well.
Yeah, I'm very proud of the interiors on this. I thought realism was hard, but really, also if you go do the cutaway up just a little bit more, you can see there's a little sunset backdrop with the cyberpunk sun. Down. A little more. A little more.
Yeah,
Yeah, I threw that in.
Is that the Burger King logo?
Yeah.
Oh no. Actually, if you go over to the Space Pavilion, I also did a few more things there. If you turn off cutaway, because it'll get cut off. I did the rockets. So the red one I affectionately named the Red Rocket Junior.
Oh yeah, go up to to that tower. And
You can see
it, you'll
up
see
mounted on that big stand. That's the Soda Jerk one from Valley of the Kings.
Yes.
We wanted to put references to all of our parks in this, kind of like how Josh and Scoop and Sens did in the Adventures Club title park, which I was really a fan of. I'm just so proud of everything we did this season. But I did that other rocket behind the palm tree. There's a beach volleyball net on the beach with the volleyballs going back and forth. I don't think we put in enough peeps to properly convey that, but I did the volleyball net and the ball going back and forth. And if you rotate the camera one more time, there's actually a rocket engine that's on display. I did that too. I'm very proud of how that came out.
Gotta love it. It's really not the same without all of the like displays and stuff. Gotta get those things in.
And then there's a shadow underneath the test track supports on the right side. That was the morning of the deadline and the last thing that I put on the map.
Gotta love it.
And there's probably a lot more. Actually, if you go over back to the Seas building, there's something that I'm very proud of that got hidden. And something I'd like to do more of if we go back to Seas Land.
I don't know.
Also, can we just talk about how aesthetic this pool is? Look at that. Look how aesthetic that is. Oh, that's a vibe.
It's got a nice shaft.
Yeah, look at that. Turn around twice and then knock down the cutaway a little more. So I did quite a bit on this building. I did the basic sort of Mr. Peanut shape, and I did the waterfall out in front. I also did that submarine below, the big one. But if you turn around the camera twice, and then cut away down just a bit so that you're below the surface of the water. Down more. Yeah, I did these aquarium interiors that I'm very proud of. Used a lot of the moving kelp from Sea of Symphonies. Really got my hands wet with those swaying objects. There's a little shout out to Sea of Symphonies in that one right there with a little white archy centerpiece thing. That's a Sea of Symphonies shout out.
Love that.
And I'm really proud of those. Actually, off topic, while I was doing research on those, I found out that aquarium landscaping, not like big scale, but like stuff you throw in your fish tank is actually super aesthetic. And I want to do a design solely based on that.
Do it.
But yeah, I'd say that's about what I did. I'm probably forgetting a lot. I made a big list when we sent in the park. But yeah, I mean, this is a bittersweet one for me. I mean, I'm proud of what I contributed. I think it turned out good in the end, but can't help but just wish I did a little more, especially with how close the match was, you know? If I had just, you know, applied a little more polish here, pulled a little more weight there, just not gotten COVID, you know? But I'm proud.
This is true.
I just want to say right now, as to not completely kill the mood, I mean, literally no team I would have rather been on this season than the Soda Jerk. Like, I remember when I registered for head-to-head, I said I wanted good vibes and great ideas. Every one of our parts was memorable, impeccable vibes, zero drama. Our one dropout was just a heartfelt message, and then the guy left. There was no squabbling afterwards. And I mean, as you could see, Fred's been honored in every single one of our parks since.
You've got to honor the Fred.
As I said, I just wanted to be on a team. You know, I just wanted to really be part of the team building and make friends and make some cool parks. And look at us, man. It's bittersweet, but we did it. We're here. We made it to the finals. We made something that a lot of people loved. Can't go wrong with that, man.
No, you can't. Literally, it was anyone's game up until the last moment. I feel like that goes the same for all of the teams. Like, you fought a incredible season. You got to the finals. You did yourself proud. You made something that's going to be undoubtedly revisited for like literally years and years.
Yeah, and that's something I want to bring up. I feel like a lot of people get caught up in the spirit of the contest, and while this head-to-head is one of the more graceful finishes that I've seen, I feel like we should all remember at the end of the day is this contest has left us with 39 incredible parks. Even the ones that, you know, may have lost, may have gotten lower panel scores, may have gotten memed. We made 39 incredible parks together. Not only are they going to stand the test of time, but we're going to be coming back to these to see how they are made. We're going to be inspired by them. Do you know how badly I just want to go into Scream Easy and just tear apart all of Leon's architecture just to see how the guy works, you know? And like, it's all out of love, and we don't have like a big fan base. We're doing this all for each other.
This is so true, yeah.
Coco wrote in an article he did for a journal where he compared our community to Warner Brothers animators toiling away in these animation studios, like, and despite the fact that they're working on what he called silly slapstick for children, like, you could tell that there's this level of detail in these beautiful, you know, background paintings, and that like the animators were doing it, you know, not so that it would be noticed, but just like almost for that mutual, like, wow, look at that between them, you know, like this is a self-contained community. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm yakking. I'm sorry, but like, yeah, like we're not big, we're not popular, you know. I mean, the Soda Jerks are TikTok famous, but that's beside the point.
Is that true?
We're not huge. We're probably like less than 100 people total, like at any given time, and really not a lot of followers outside of that. And we still make stuff like this. We still make stuff like Mechas. We still make stuff like Scream Easy. We put in hours. We battle deadlines just for each other, you know. And head-to-head is beautiful. I always knew. I always love this contest, and being here has been a joy. So shout out to Scoop. Shout out to the Jerks. May not have won, but I mean, I'm always going to be jerking my soda.
Gotta jerk your soda, dude. Gotta jerk your soda. I think I've mentioned this before, but oftentimes on like a first date, I'll mention that I do competitive Roller Coaster Tycoon, and if they can't, if they look at that and think, "Huh, what?" then they aren't cool. You need for the person that you're going out with to be like, "Hey, that sounds insane," and I love that. So it's a really good vibe check to just be like, here's you know, my here's something that like motivates me. Here's something that's like that's true. You know, I don't think anyone can really come in and say, "Oh, you're just being amazing at Roller Coaster Tycoon for clout." You know, it isn't genuine, it isn't authentic, and I think that's the best thing about this community as it stands right now. It's like everyone here getting passionate about stuff and wanting to win. That's like with so much authenticity, and not a lot of people can say that, but we can safely say that about Roller Coaster Tycoon. So good point, Gustav. Well said.
Literally nobody outside of this community knows I do this outside of my little brother, who I like tell everything to. I haven't trashed anyone. Don't worry. I haven't told him the JAZZCATS are a bunch of lying, stealing, thieving, finals rigging assholes, you know? But yeah, like this is like pretty much no one knows I do this.
You can shit talk me if you want. You can make me the villain of your story if you want. I consent to that.
Exposed me.
Can be like, and there's this one guy. The community would be good without this one guy. Outstanding. We've already talked about a lot of secrets in this park, but are there any more that like spring to mind that we could explore?
Let me take a look.
In about I'm gonna want to be going to bed.
I know
soon.
you need to go to bed soon. So
yeah, so try and get like a quick 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, what else? What else are you begging to know? Rapid fire.
I think it's you've done a really good job of covering all the stuff that I was curious about. Who's responsible for the coaster? I need to know this. Is this a group effort?
That's me.
Yeah, baby.
Mavericks did a couple edits, but for the most part, it's me.
Oh,
he did the sports.
You've got to get the Mavericks pass. You've got to get the Mavericks pass.
Oh yeah. If he approves, it's good.
Well, guys, I feel a distinct, melancholy at this point, knowing that this is the last park of the contest that we're going to be looking through.
Yeah, it's always so funny. It's like when I was reviewing the third place match, I was like, damn, this is going to be the last match I vote on.
Yeah, that's crazy.
3 years for this contest, and here it is now.
So on this extremely high note, of like huge congratulations to the Soda Jerks and of course the JAZZCATS. So 2 amazing teams to be in the finals, 2 amazing showings, 2 completely, authentic, heartfelt, and completely, idiosyncratic showings from both teams to take us out of the contest, and what an absolute pleasure it's been to experience that all alongside all of you guys. So without further ado, I want to see some love hearts in the chat for the admins for putting on such an amazing contest. I want to see love hearts in the chat for all of the players who've shown up. I want to see love hearts in the chat for all of the community members who weren't part of the contest but have been leaving the reviews, have been experiencing this all alongside us, who have been making sure that we didn't go unappreciated in that time. There's just so many people to thank and so little time in which to do it. Huge love to the community, huge love to everybody who's shown up, even for the smallest of things. Those team members who have just shown up and done a percent here and there and given comments here and there. It's all so valuable. There's people who've done these Herculean tasks of getting these parks finished on time, and it needs all of us to keep this damn thing alive. And I'm honored to say that the community is looking as strong as it's ever looked, and as as applied, as passionate, as enthusiastic and talented as we've ever been. Just such a incredible honor to be fighting in the trenches alongside you, you absolute weirdos. You love to see it. And for the last time this contest, to all of you, no one is left out of this. Get the fuck off my stream.